Good morning and welcome to this InvestGlass presentation. I'm Alexander of InvestGlass, and in today's InvestGlass presentation, we're going to show you KYC Remediation. Know Your Customer Remediation. Thank you very much for attending this presentation. I'm Alexander of InvestGlass, and before we actually start, let me give you a little word of InvestGlass. InvestGlass is #1 Swiss CRM built for automation. InvestGlass has a cloud suite of digital onboarding, flexible CRM, portfolio management, order management tool, automation obviously, open banking API, digital signature, investment rebalancing, sales pipeline and reporting, and customizable portal. The whole solution has been built obviously for financial professionals, private equity, family office, real estate, but also auction house. Auction house are also interested by this anti-money laundering and KYC solution, as you will see later on, because it is important to screen your prospects and your client's name for any type of transactions, for example, above £10,000 or €10,000. This solution is naturally hosted in Switzerland, that's why you have a Swiss cloud, but it is also possible to host InvestGlass on large institution premise, so don't hesitate to ask us for all the details for that. With no further ado, let's dive into the KYC remediation today. Thank you very much for participating to this webinar. Today we're going to show you all the 5 steps for completing this process of remediation. The first step starts with collecting information. Then once the information is collected from your prospects or your clients, you're checking the documents. Then you have to validate the information and start remediation, which is basically a negotiation, a communication, a dialogue with your clients and prospects. And the 5th step is the approval process, where you will manage exceptions, but also negotiations with your clients and prospects. So the first step is to collect information. To collect information, InvestGlass has powerful digital forms, but you can also use the client portal. And those tools will help you to collect different information from for example, the birth of date, the first name, last name, any information, but also any documents such as the IDs, the driving license, the certificate of incumbency if it's a company. So all the client's documents can be collected from InvestGlass tools. When the tools of onboarding, digital onboarding, are not, I would say, easy to use, or you would prefer to have a direct contact via the voice or via texting, InvestGlass has pre-built connections with Aircall, WhatsApp, Intercom, or Quill, which are fantastic tools. And those tools, which are directly connected to InvestGlass API, will prevent dual logs. It means that when you're giving a phone call through one of those apps, the recording as well as the content of this communication can go directly into your contact report note. This will facilitate the tracking of your exchange, each contact report having an ID. Obviously, it will also facilitate when you need to escalate the question to a team specialist. During the first step, you also have to assess your contact's risks, and for that, we suggest you to build pre-check or pre-qualified questionnaires to reduce your prospect frustration. This obviously is interesting for private equity or private banking, where sometimes it's complicated to open a client's account, but it can also be used for corporate business, corporate finance business, or just when you want to sell the goods, to assess the level of those answers given by your prospects. Each type of answer will have a number of points, and based on this logic, simply you will know, or the client will know, if he's qualified to pursue. Now, step 2 is checking documents. For now, we cannot suggest better than collecting the data into InvestGlass portal. Why? Because InvestGlass portal, that you can host either on Swiss Cloud or on your premise, first, it's based on S3, which is a universal technology for storage documents. And second, this will prevent also any type of phishing attacks. I mean, having all those emails flying around is very difficult and very dangerous. Using InvestGlass portal or digital forms to collect documents, we believe it's the right way to reduce risk. Of course, those forms can vary based on the client's or the prospect nature. So you have the possibility to build from InvestGlass different types of onboarding to collect different types of information. Then everything is stored into a perfect tool, which obviously will put you at the GDPR, which is the law on data protection, at the GDPR level. You can also use third-party applications and connect them with InvestGlass, for example, Ontido, that we really like for fast collection of documents. Ontido is a fantastic tool, particularly if you want to offer a brokerage or if you are collecting few information and very regular documents like the passport or the driving license or the identity card. Ontido has its own KYC calibration, and it has a fantastic biometric facial recognition. So all in one, biofacial recognition and ID verification connected with Ontido to InvestGlass makes it very, very attractive. Step 3, you have to validate information. So all the information that you're going to receive are going to be stored into a CRM. Obviously, we suggest you to go with InvestGlass, but you can also go with other systems, and it will be compatible with InvestGlass through an API. Each field will be qualified, so GDPR, PII. We have the possibility to do fields certifications to make sure that also the right contacts, or the right members in the company will have access to the right information. Indeed, it will be possible to have your prospect scanning a card, a debit, credit card, or a passport, and the representative of your company will only have access to the first name and last name, but not the MRZ, the code that you'll find on the passport or on the ID card. This is through the who sees what of InvestGlass, and that's why we strongly suggest you to use InvestGlass CRM. Now, the system will also help you, thanks to the artificial intelligence, to extract the data and make sure that you don't have any double entries, and this will be made possible thanks to deep learning algorithm. The system will also let you know if you have missing fields or some fields are just incoherent. Step 3 is now the KYC audit. Now you're going to use another software. We partly like Ardis by Policies, which is a fantastic software to check the names of your prospects as well as their company name. Obviously, if a shareholder has more than 25%, you also have to share, to connect and to Polixis to check his reputation. The same for board members. And the way this by Polixis puts the information is quite attractive. Obviously, we also use Credas and LexisNexis, which are fantastic solutions to check the names of your prospects and clients and make sure that there's no sanctions. The system is very powerful also to check the names and make sure that you don't have any false positives. False positives is one of the hardest parts of this KYC audit. We also have a fantastic tool to check the portfolios. So if you're dealing with cryptocurrencies, we are working with ScoreChain. ScoreChain is perhaps one of the best KYC portfolio for cryptocurrency, and the results are produced in form of PDF, or you can connect them directly into InvestGlass API to have, I would say, a transparent audit trail and contact notes. So now the fourth step is start remediation. So let's start with that. So first we have to make sure that we have completed information into the system. So the audit trail of InvestGlass will record all the changes and all the modifications. That's very important because once you're going to, on the step 3, ask for new information to those different APIs, Polixis, Ardis, or ScoreChain, you want to make sure when this information hits your system. So this is how you're going to do it through the system of audit trail of InvestGlass. Obviously, the field audit trail will retain up to 10 years of data, so that's exactly what you need to make sure that you will have the right information stored into the system. And the single access permission will help you, as I said, to make sure that the right employee, the right team member, will look at the right information, and you will be able to restrict sensitive information that way. Then step 4, automation. So with InvestGlass system, you can set up your own rules. Usually we have 2 types of rules: the incidents and the recurring checks. Incidents, for example, is when you have a prospect or a client with a phone number with a Luxembourgian extension, and this woman lives in London, or you have something weird, incoherent into the data. This will produce with the automation an incident which can be tracked by InvestGlass, and then the right member, for example, it can be the owner of the contact, it can be the team of the bankers, or it can be the compliance or the legal officer, will receive a notification via email or through the platform in the nav bar, telling him this and that client are actually with some incidental data that you have to correct. So that's very, very interesting. Now for the recurring, it's a bit different. It's having on the yearly or 3 years or 5-year basis check of the information you store on the client's KYC. Is it 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years? This will depend very much of your own classification. Obviously, the more dangerous or the more complex, risky is the relation, and the highest is the recurrence, so you will go for 1 year. Then your prospects and clients will be sorted in 3 categories. Usually my clients do it with colors, so they have orange, which is something to do, red, which means there's a big issue, and green meaning there's no problems. So with the automation and this system of notification, you will save a lot of time in the exchange of emails that you would have to check all the profiles. Then once you know which prospect or client is in the orange zone, for example, and you have hundreds or thousands of people to contact, there's no way you will be able to do it without a campaign tool. And InvestGlass CRM has an email campaign tool which will help you for KYC remediation. The email system will individualize a message: Dear Mr. Smith, Dear Madam Joe, and the inside of the email body will be individualized as well as the form, the digital form, which means that each individual customer will receive an individual form with the individual information she or he can update directly from this secured access. So this is a very powerful tool because it will be, and it is the only way to manage a large quantity of KYC remediation, to be also respectful of GDPR in any type of local regulation. It is easy to use, there's no programming, and it will definitely save you hundreds of hours of work. And obviously, if I have to tell also on that, if after 5 days the client or the prospect did not respond, then the automation will start another campaign. It's a scheduler basically with a sequence, so you can start a second message directly out from InvestGlass email campaign. And if after this second message 5 days ago there's still no answers with the actual regulation, this means that the client perhaps either never received the email, so then you can give a phone call, but if it did, it means that basically it doesn't want to answer, and then it's the answer you're looking for, right? Once the answers have been collected, we suggest you to have those answers produced in form of a PDF, and this PDF can then be signed with a eIDAS solution. We love Connective. We also use Signatis. Connective is a system which will facilitate the digital signature. You can use it throughout Europe. It's a fantastic tool and is directly connected with InvestGlass. So you just have to be a connective client, and the connectivity is seamless. The signature also uses a two-factor authentication to make sure that it's the right user, the right contact signing the right document. And then step 5, it's the last step, is the approval process. So here the idea is to also have an inside process in case of exceptions, because you might be into the gray zone, you might be into the orange category of your clients, but still there might be some exceptions that could be acceptable. For that, you can leverage InvestGlass approval process, which will automatically be triggered if a form is submitted, if a form is signed, if there are some specific information, and then the head of the team, the chief of private banking, the head of legal can accept, reject, reassign an approval process to finish this KYC remediation process. So into this solution, you have seen InvestGlass turnkey solution. As you see, InvestGlass works with other fintech. So those solutions are easily connectable within InvestGlass within minutes. You just have to be a client of Connective or Synetis or Ardis Polixis, ScoreChain, and InvestGlass will do the connectivity. So thank you very much for attending this webinar this morning. If you have any questions, please give a phone call here. You'll have our sales team answering any calls and any information about this KYC system. If you have any question also, you can send us an email at contact@investglass.com. And we wish you a fantastic day and see you soon with InvestGlass Solutions.